welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah. Today I am doing a Ramadan prep with me video. I just thought I would like yap and talk and share my Ramadan prep pointers while like the video is running. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit, but I just thought I would share how I prep and what I think about whenever I am planning for Ramadan and what I do on my journaling and everything like that. Really quick, I want to give a little reminder. If you need to pay back your fasting, you have like what, 2 weeks ish left, so get your pay back your fasting in. You got it inshallah. So I'm a recent uni graduate and I feel like this is the first year that I'm able to focus on Ramadan, like solely Ramadan, and not being a Muslim studying. But the last 2 Ramadans as a Muslim student, it's still fresh in my mind, so I thought I would just share a bit of my journey with you guys, because that time really helped me grow my iman and deen and just grow as a person and as a Muslim. So hopefully they become good tips and advices as well, inshallah. Goals and planning, cause, health, and setting intention. That's of the 4 major areas that I focus on when I'm prepping for my Ramadan. So let's just go ahead and go to my live prepping. I definitely recommend using like a simple planner or a Google Calendar or a little notebook, or Notion, obviously. Something that you know you will look back on, even if it's for a glance. Some are able to prep for their Ramadan just in their heads and intentions, and there's definitely nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with, you know, doing it the other way, which in my case is writing everything down. If I had one advice for Muslim studying right now, it would be to embrace your community. I personally spent 2 Ramadans without my family and friends for the first time in my life since I was in a different city for uni. But some of you guys might even be states or countries away from your family, but even being like 2 hours away, I was truly struggling. I also knew my iman was not the best as I wanted it to be or as I knew it could be, and as a Muslim born, I felt as if I had so much more to learn and practice. So alhamdulillah, learning from others and reflecting was a big part of my Islamic growth. I know in some MSA or general Muslim community, it's hard for a newcomer to step in because it may seem like there are cliques formed or drama. At the end of the day, we're still young adults who like have crushes and like friend issues and hurt feelings and stuff like that. It is hard, especially for an introvert like me. Like, it was really hard for me to even step foot into our masjid study space, which subhanAllah is such a sad thing to feel. And even sadder that I know a lot of sisters who are still feeling this way, and there are definitely still moments like literally recently before I graduated that I still felt that way. But I went to our campus masjid, and it was actually the first time like I went for community and social intentions, and it was during Ramadan. It was my first Ramadan of uni, and it was one of the post-tarawih nights when the masjid would do like snacks, social time, and usually like a small lecture. Just sitting down, the sister beside me had said salam and told her name, and then we had that like uni exchange of questions, you know, like what's your major, what year are you in, and stuff like that. Then after like the whole event, the sister brought me to the study space for sisters, and I got introduced to everyone. And literally almost every night after that, I would be going to the masjid. There would be nights when we would all just study together, the nights when I found someone to talk with about how my Ramadan was going, or just how school's going, or just random yapping sessions. Some nights I just stayed by myself inside the masjid, inside the musalla, and I would read Quran by myself. Sometimes I would even just do work there by myself. Even if I was by myself, it was still comforting to know that when I stepped outside, I would be treated with knowing smiles and hugs, or there would be someone I knew in the masjid who was also like reading Quran and doing their own thing. Like, it was just really comforting to have support like that. Obviously, alhamdulillah, I've had the opportunity to be in UT, and they have a campus local masjid, so they have this big community. and some campuses don't have that yet or just don't have that. But I also know that in this day of age, alhamdulillah, there's a lot of unis have these MSA who do things and who have orgs and gatherings, and they do events. So really just like stepping out there and getting to know your Muslim community. The next biggest thing I learned was to be realistic. It is good and okay to dream big, but you also don't want to get overwhelmed and then dejected, and then you don't end up doing anything like that you wanted to do in the beginning. This also comes with starting small. So if on a general day outside of Ramadan you seldom read Quran, I would not recommend writing down reading 5 pages every salah, especially as a student. Obviously, mashallah, if you're able to keep yourself accountable and complete that type of goals, then this advice isn't for you. Inshallah, we will all get there and to that point, but taking little steps does not make you any less of a Muslim. And you know how realistic you are, you know yourself the best, so just go at your own pace. Put something down that you know you can be consistent with, and when you get to a day when you're like, okay, I got this, alhamdulillah, let me add one more page or one more sunnah prayer, inshallah you'll be able to grow that way. Another thing is, before you add your goals, I would definitely do some research. This means like looking up what type of sunnah prayers there are, what are the benefits of certain du'as, or what others are doing during their Ramadan. Even just like searching up on Google like what Ramadan like goals like there are, you know. But also, does your masjid hold iftars? And if yes, is there a way you can volunteer? You just by like looking things up, you know what else you want to and can put into your goals. It's not superficial, like it's out there, you know. Like if you don't want to like look up on Google, you can text your family or text your friends or your MSA community group, you know, stuff like that. For planning and keeping myself and my goals accountable, I like to make sure I can allot times in my day and weeks for certain things. As a student, I definitely recommend doing this. So other times in between your classes when you can read a page of Quran, or how much time after your last class do you have for you to go to Tarawih, which days are you able to make iftar on your own versus going to your local masjid or eating out for buka. So things like that is just something, it's really helpful if you already have those segmented into your like calendar, Google Calendar, whatever. You won't get too overwhelmed, and you have a time slot for you to do those things and for you to focus on, is it devotion time or is it just time for you to take a nap? Like even like moments like that, you know, you can put it down. So I would definitely write out my du'as. This covers personal du'as and routine du'as, which is like du'as that pertain to you, your circumstances, but also du'as like simply when you wake up, or if you need something, if you want to ask for something intentional. This will definitely help with knowing what you're praying for and setting your intentions as well. But also for Eid prayers, so helpful to already have a list of du'as for you that you want to say. Obviously you can add more, but you're already thinking about it, you know. What I want to yap about is my favorite topic, health. Little disclaimer, in this video, whatever I will be saying is all my opinion, belief, based on the knowledge that I have learned and picked up on. So just keeping that in mind. So mental health, physical health, and spiritual health go hand in hand. And during Ramadan is probably the biggest challenge where this trio gets shaken up. But also reflection and personal growth during Ramadan this time can also improve your mental health. See what I did there? The balance. I also want to say again, if you are struggling with your mental health currently or your upcoming Ramadan, this video or anything I say, it's not going to be like used or should not be used for diagnosis purposes or treatment plan purposes. Please go seek professional help and professional knowledge for you to gain those. Inshallah, I'll be putting in some resources into the caption and link it and everything, so inshallah you guys can look at that. But there are 4 main things that I really want to keep in mind in terms of health and mental health during this Ramadan. 1 is looking after your physical health. eat healthily, and do not ignore or forget water. For me, I never realized until Ramadan was over, but I would neglect my drinking of water during buka so much because I was so focused on the food I was craving or the sweets I needed for energy. I also just did not want to like go use the restroom in the middle of like throwaway because then I had to take wudu again. So drink as much water as you can when you're breaking your fast, like during buka, during iftar, also like sahur. It is sunnah for you to drink water and eat a date during your sahur, so drink that water, guys. Number 2 is looking after your sleep. You need to be mindful of how sleeping will affect your energy, and I feel like this also goes back to the points of taking things slow and being realistic. So you know how much sleep your body needs, how much energy rejuvenation you need for your mind to work, especially students. There are some people who could genuinely devote their time every night to reading the Quran, praying sunnahs like until sahur time or fajr time. MashaAllah for them. However, by the second or beginning of the third week, I tire out. I found myself less intentional with my time during the day and during my fast. Instead of praying daily sunnah prayers or reading Quran during my fast, I would sleep, but too much, way too much. For me, like, I literally neglected going to classes and studying, and it wasn't even to prioritize going to the masjid during those class times. It was to sleep, and I don't know, but for me personally, I did not find that to be very good. So I reflected on that for my second Ramadan and, you know, tried to progressively do it. So if you plan out like maybe the first week, like don't do as much, but you want to do more the second week. The last 10 nights of Ramadan, I wanted to stay up way more. It was more meaningful, more impactful. Alhamdulillah, it worked. But it was also like really helpful that like I had energy from before those 10 days, because before those 10 days I wasn't, you know, staying up too much. Able to have the energy to stay up during those last 10 nights. Third, I already mentioned this above, but connect and talk to people. Go to your community. This also being said, your community does not only have to consist of Muslims. Obviously best and probably most helpful since they are able to relate to you or provide Islamic advices. But don't be afraid or don't close out any non-Muslim friends you have either. I had 3 non-Muslim roommates for all my uni years, and during the 2 Ramadans, it was so refreshing and lovely to be able to talk about Ramadan with them. Also, it's from dawah and sadaqah to spread your knowledge, so there's that as well. At the end of the day, you also just have to surround yourself with people who will genuinely help you and support you. It takes trials, trust me, I know. It takes trials to know who you want to surround yourself with, who are good people, but inshallah, you guys will figure that out. Lastly, be kind, do good deeds, and keep a journal. I know like maybe some of you guys are like hearing mental health and these are like immediately the 3 things that you guys think about. Like maybe it's cliche or cheesy to keep hearing it, but you really don't understand how impactful it is until you do it. Firstly, I don't understand how someone could have a negative mindset, negative mental health when they're being kind to someone. Like, how are you gonna help a grandma like cross the street and have negative thoughts like about that? Obviously, like when you're genuinely helping the grandma cross the street, but like when you're being kind like that, your thoughts and your mindset are automatically going to be positive because you're doing a good thing. You're doing a good thing and you're having good intentions and it's genuine. So it's just gonna help how you live your life, like how you go about doing things. You're going to do it with a positive manner, and I feel like that also goes hand in hand with doing good deed. Good deed being helping grandma cross the street. Lastly is keeping a journal. I think this is probably one of my favorite like self-care routines and advices that I usually always say. Someone asked me, what's a self-care idea? journaling, because it's so simple and so versatile. I know there's like a lot of like social media and, you know, even me like making this video on this, like using Notion, all this stuff, but journaling does not have to mean that you have to go out, buy a book, buy different pens and colors, buy different stickers, whatever, all that stuff. I personally like to do it in a book, and I like doing that way. Some people do as well, but some of you guys are like, that's why I don't want to journal, because I don't want to get all of that stuff. I'm not going to do all that stuff. I'm going to end up throwing it away, all these things. But journaling does not only have to mean that. It can literally be in your notes app, like as simple as that. You just whip out your phone and put it in your notes app. Just something to like catalog your thoughts and for you to put what's in your head down so that you don't get so overwhelmed and burdened by things that are going on in your head. Also, videoing yourself, like if you're talking to yourself and you just want to video how your day went, how your Ramadan went. Why do you think I'm on YouTube? But yeah, literally, especially Ramadan, like there are days when you might think, oh, I feel like I'm not doing enough, or oh, today I didn't get to do as much Quran as I planned out to do before. You also have to have these moments where you're able to reflect with yourself and reflect with the actions and what you did in that day. One last point about journaling is I personally think it goes very much hand in hand with communicating with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're reflecting on your thoughts, you're, you know, sharing what is going on in your mind, sharing what you're thinking about. And this is also another thing that I can say where mental health in the deen and mental health in the dunya, it both coincides, it both goes together, because modern day mental health techniques like journaling in a book, as Muslims, you know, you can't do that without also turning to Allah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my yapping and watching through as I prepped. Bismillah. I just want to say again, I'm no certified scholar or professional in terms of Islam or mental health. If you have any questions, comments, or even like anything you want to add on, put it down there. You know where to tap it in. But with that being said, inshallah, everyone's Ramadan will go well. Inshallah, my Ramadan will be going well. I hope you guys found this a little bit beneficial. Not a little bit. But I had fun making this. So yeah, stay tuned for my Ramadan entries this month. Bye.